Okay guys, we are going to be performing an stratigraphic section measurement. We are going to collect information from this outcrop, and then afterwards, during class, you are going to be making the stratigraphic column. How are we going to make that? We are going to be using a tool, a very basic tool. This is just a broom brand that is going to be used to measure the stratigraphic section in that outcrop. And we are going to be using an app that is called Clino that is going to help you to determine the depth and the deep and the strike of the rocks that you are going to be measuring. Okay? How are you going to be doing that? You are going to be opening your Clino app, you are going to be putting it in top of the stick, and you are going to be following the dip and the strike of the stratigraphic sequence. Let's do it, and then we're going to discuss that in class. Remember that I told you in class that the rocks have a horizontal line and a line that is perpendicular to it. The horizontal line is going to show you the strike, and the perpendicular line that is going towards the deepest part of the rock is going to show you the dip. So you take the Clino app and you put it on top of your rock and you record your app. And once you record the point, it is geographically georeferenced and you have already your strike and depth. So you ensure that you are not going to be losing any information once you are in the field. Okay? Make sure that you are going to be having at least 2 to 3 measurements, so in that way you are going to have some statistics that you can use. All right, so let's do it again. Okay, sorry about that. You record it again and you save it. All right, so in this case, what you see here is that it's dipping 10 degrees towards 356 azimuth. Okay, okay, we are now going to start making the measurement of the stratigraphic section. As you see here, guys, we are having the strata going in this direction. So all these strata belongs to the same level, right? You see, you can follow the strata through the whole outcrop. And what we are going to be doing is measuring the stratigraphic thickness of the outcrop, and we are going to be collecting samples each 1 meter and 20 centimeters. So for instance, our first rock that I collected in this area is this one here, and then we are going to be marking the area where we have the 1 meter and 20 centimeters. In this case is this strata here, and we can follow the strata. As you see here, in some places it can be a little bit brittle, and you can follow the strata all the way to here. So we are going to be collecting our sample right here. This is going to be our next sample. And something that is very important for you guys to keep in mind is that we are going to be marking our samples so that we can take them to the lab and make all the analysis that we need. In this case, we had called it Geo from the geology class number 1, which is our first outcrop, and this is our first sample on the outcrop. And we make sure that we keep the samples in place so that we can later on connect them. And we are going to be continuing like this through the whole outcrop. As you see here, you have different thicknesses in the strata. As I mentioned before, this can be related to changes in the environmental conditions, climate, biological conditions, let's say kind of animals that were in the ocean during this time. This can be also the result of changes in the sea level. For instance, during periods of high sea level, you usually have stratigraphic thicknesses or layers that are thinner than during periods of low sea level, right? However, this is not always the case. Sometimes whenever you have low sea level, you end up eroding the material that were previously deposited. Okay, let's continue here. We go to the next step. We are following this strata. We have collected already here. And our next measurement will be this strata here. This strata here is very particular. It has some remineralization of the carbonates. This can be related to the tectonic activity that has affected these materials. Why I'm saying that? This is basically because of the fact that most of the material is brittle, it has some fracturing, and the fracturing is an evidence that you are going to be having tectonic activity going on. Okay, so this is our next strata. I'm trying to look for a piece that is easy to collect. So for instance, this piece can be easy to collect. We will see. It has a little fracture that will allow us to collect the sample easily. This is a very big chunk of rock, so I don't want to take the whole chunk to the lab. And basically what I'm going to do is break it a little bit. All right. This is still a little bit too big. You have to watch out for your eyes. You don't want a piece of this rock flying towards your eyes. Okay, so it's better to use goggles to protect your eyes. Okay, this is a very nice chunk of material. I'm going to mark it right away. So we were in sample number 3. So again, this is Geo 1 and the sample is 0003. Make sure that you use permanent marker, otherwise you are going to be losing your information. Okay. And like this, we are going to continue right here. And in this part, we are getting a little bit of trouble because as you see here, the laminations and the strata do not continue. So here they are very flat, parallel to each other, and we are arriving to this area in which basically we have the strata being interrupted by this chunk of rocks that have somehow a very chaotic formation, right? It's the characteristic is very chaotic. And here you start having some changes in the depth. Right here. You continue to here, and in here you have another major change. So some of the strata become vertical and even curved, right? So for instance, in this part, this is the same strata. You can follow it. This guy is the same strata here. You can follow it. So in this area here, what we have is a major geological fault. And basically the fault is moving the whole strata and making it chaotic and making all these little structures that we call internal fault foldings. So basically the rocks become folded. Okay, and in here you have a very nice vertical uh, fault that eventually is moving this block on top of this block. Why I'm saying this? Look at this guy here. This guy here is this same guy here. So this block here actually is going down while this guy is going up. Okay, so this is a very nice example of a very beautiful normal fault. Okay, we continue in the outcrop. So in here we are not going to make any measurement because we have lost the order that we want to have for the stratigraphic column measurement. We continue having some faults going on here, a very nice V-shaped fault movement in which you have basically all the strata already break apart and having these brittle characteristics. In here the strata again continue being disrupted all the time. In this area here you have even a shortening of the strata in which basically you have a pitching of the strata in a very nice way. This is another important fault here. So yeah, nothing to do here with the stratigraphy. This is a whole faulting area. You can see how chaotic the strata are, right? Let's continue here. In this area you have a major folding of this strata. You see how the strata is folded here, coming over here, and then coming down here. Okay, guys, so we were on the left side of the outcrop before, and we start measuring the stratigraphic section. You can follow it here with the point of the stick. Okay, all this area here, you see that the stratigraphy is coming very homogeneous until the point in which we get into this very chaotic area in which you have a normal fault, you have another fault here that is bifurcated here, so it goes towards two different directions. In here you have a truck crossing by, and here you still have some of the strata following the same direction that probably we were having. Right? We have to confirm that by using the Clino app. Of course, you are not going to do that in this practice, but whenever you are in the field, you will have to determine also the dip and the strike on this area here. And here you see that the strata are kind of homogeneous all the way to here, right? And in here you're going to see that we have a major fracture moving the two strata in the same way that they were moved in the previous block. Again, this strata here is broken and is going down with respect to its continuation towards this other block here. Okay, we are going to continue walking, and here you're going to find a very special feature, and this is something that I had mentioned before. Is a fault, and basically what is happening here is that the same strata is becoming folded, and the strata that are below it, they are even more folded. This is with respect to the previous tectonic feature, which is the normal fault, the opposite. In here what you have is that all these strata are going on top of the previous strata, right? So this is what we call normal fault or a thrust that in geological terms means a inverse fault, but with a lower angle. The same situation happened here, right? In which basically you have also another fault that is showing us that probably this block was going up on top of this block before the normal faulting happens. These are the different events that have affected the outcrop. Okay, so first you have the sedimentation, right? All the sediments were settling down, then they were cemented and they become rock, and then later on we have the folding of the strata through a thrust or a low angle inverse fault, and later on we have the normal fault going in that direction. Why this is important? This is important because whenever you have an exploration, for instance, for oil and gas or for a carbon capture reservoir, and you start having a, a drill hole like this, for instance, you are going to be repeating strata, and probably this is going to be an over estimation of the thickness of the stratigraphic section. If you remove the faults, right, most likely your stratigraphic section will become thinner because you are not going to have the repetition caused by the fault. You can see this even more clear here, in which basically the fault, the thrust or the reverse fault that you're going to have is folding this strata, and the strata is being repeated, right? You can follow it through the streak, right? And in here as well, you have the strata even repeated 3 times here. If you make a hole here, you are going to be repeating the strata at least 4 times. This is important because whenever you are also calculating the reserves for mineral resources, you are not going to be having the correct thickness, and you are going to be overestimating the reserves of your mineral deposit. Okay, guys, so this is a very good example of how the geology of the Sierra Madre is configured. It is configured by Cretaceous carbonate rocks. Sometimes you have some siliciclastic rocks, but the most important feature is that they are being folded and thrusted by tectonic events that were compressing the rocks. And later on, whenever the volcanism happened here in this area, you start having distension of the rocks, and then you have the normal faults going on.